Hey guys, we're live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and I got a brand new guest for you guys today. His name is Marcus from Dixon's Pickins. How are you doing
What
today,
up,
bro?
man? I'm pretty good, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm doing well, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience, just in case they don't know who you are. You could tell
Okay.
everybody who you are, where you're from, and let them know what it is that you do.
All right. What's going on, everybody? My name is Marcus. My channel's called Dixon's Pickins. I'm from Missouri, originally from St. Louis, but now I live in a little tiny town called Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And I'm pretty much full-time reseller on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and Macari, although eBay is my main source of income. Um, I got a YouTube channel, man. I'm just trying to help new resellers shorten the learning curve. I make content that I was looking for when I first got started in the reselling that I couldn't find, and just try to elaborate more on anything that's going to help anyone not make as many mistakes as I did starting out, or at least learn from the mistakes that I did make when I started out.
Yeah, it's a good thing about the reseller community is people are willing to help each other. Even if like maybe you're selling shoes and I'm selling video games, if you still come up with some tip or trick, it's like, hey, this is what's working for me. So so
It's a
you
never-ending learning experience, man.
right, so you live in Missouri, and
Yeah,
is this you by yourself? I think you said you live with your girlfriend. Do you have any
yeah.
kids or anything, Marcus, or is it just you?
No kids, just me and her.
Oh, okay, cool. And how long have you been reselling now?
Uh, I started reselling in October of last year. So not long, not even a year yet.
All right. Well, you got to tell us a story of how you got into reselling because the people want to know how it is that you got started into this reselling game.
Okay, so about October of last year, so I was working at Golden Corral. Do you know what Golden Corral is?
Yeah, it's
It's
like
a
a buffet
buffet style, yeah.
restaurant.
So I
Yeah.
was the kitchen manager at Golden Corral. Was making 36,000 a year, just comfortable cash, nothing too extravagant. And they laid us off when COVID happened. And then I started looking for ways to make money. So the old me was in the streets, man, and I didn't want to go back to that type of that mind frame. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, let me look for something that's legal, something that's profitable that I can do from home. So I got on YouTube and got on the internet and started looking around and just pretty much typed in what can I do from how can I make money from home. And the first thing that popped up that I was actually interested in was sneaker selling. So this
Yeah.
was hype sneakers, So I started doing a little bit of research, watched a ton of YouTube videos, and I decided to give it a shot. Well, the overhead, it's pretty pricey to buy a brand new pair of Jordans. You're talking at least $130 for, or at least 115 for the cheapest pair, and they're not very easy to get in a small town with one sneaker store, which is Champs. We don't get every release. We don't get even a large amount when we do get a release. So there's minimal pairs. You know what I mean? So me being able to scale this business was not very feasible. So I started looking at other ways to make more money and started watching other YouTubers like Harry Tornado, Hustling Hooks, Dustin the Pro Picker, and just other people buying everything but hype sneakers and making a ton of cash at it. So I was like, you know what, man, maybe I can do that. And I was in a sneaker reselling class at the time, and the guy that was running the course, he used to go to the Goodwills and thrift stores and stuff like that to get his inventory, as well as another guy that was in the class. That's what was his predominant source of income was thrifting. And he's like, man,
Right.
you should try it. You should try it. That could be your way to eat while you live in such a small town. That could be how you make money. And it turned out it was I took off like a rocket with it, man, and I ain't looked back since.
Yeah, well, the good thing is you living in a smaller town, you probably have a lot less competition as far as other resellers looking for the same merchandise as you, and so that's a good thing. And yeah, I've had Hustlin' Hook. Shout out to them. I've had them on the channel, and Harry
Mhm.
Tornado was nice enough to be a guest on here. And I've reached out to the Pro Picker in the past, and he said he was busy. He said something about he was trying to work on remodeling a house or something. So I'll
Mhm.
try to reach out to him again and see if I can get him on
Right.
sometime. But different schedules and everything. So
Yeah.
so you got to this point and you had a stable job. That lockdown came. You got to the point where they were like, all right, we're gonna have to lay people off. We're
Right.
shutting the whole restaurant down because like at a Golden Corral, it's an open buffet, and everybody is around each other, so it's really easy for somebody to get sick or somebody to say, hey, I got injured or something happened to me and I want to file a lawsuit or something. So
that's happened there several times.
Right. And so at the time you were just like, I've got to figure it's another way where I can pay the bills. So you jumped into this reselling game, and you also you have a second YouTube channel as well, don't you? I didn't link it today, but you talk a lot about shoes, right?
Yep, it's called Sneaker Geeker. It's pretty much, it started out about hype sneakers. There's quite a few subscribers on there. I got like 800 something subscribers on there. A lot of watch time. Like, it's the gift that keeps on giving. I don't even make content on there, and I still get over 100 views a day on videos. But the thing is, man, is I can't keep making that content. Like, I had to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on mystery boxes from random people and lose money on the box just to make content. And that doesn't seem like something, that's not a smart business plan. Lose money to make YouTube videos. So I tried to switch it up to regular bread and butter sneaker content. It's not being received as well because the subscribers that came for the channel were coming for hype sneaker content, not bread and butter sneaker content. So I'm gonna let that channel marinate and do what it does for a minute until I figure out what I want to do with it. But I care about my Dixon's Pickins channel. I feel it. That's where my heart is. So that's what I'm gonna do. You know,
right. Well,
you
know, Marcus, I could tell, bro, because all the time I always run into you in reseller chats all the time. And it was a week or so ago, we were both in this YouTube content creator studio, and I ran into Marcus, and I was like, man, this guy is a hustler, because not only is he trying to level up his resale game and hang out with other resellers, but then you're taking your spare free time while you're in the back listing items or sourcing or whatever, and then studying, trying to learn this game to level up your YouTube channel as well. So I was like, man, I've got to reach out to Marcus. I tried to get to one last week, but we're just trying to make the schedules work out. So that's cool, man.
This is my
go ahead.
Video I'll put you on full screen. Academy workbook.
Oh yeah, you got a whole workbook.
Yeah, man. I paid for the course, man. It's like over several $1,000s if you didn't get it on the bundle deal. I got it for the bundle deal, so it's $97 a month for like $1,000 total. So
really?
I saved a ton of cash, man. I couldn't pass it up.
All right, cool. Yeah, well, I'm just saying that you've actually tried to put the work in and grow in your YouTube channel and then grow in your reselling business. So let me say hello here to the chat. I wanted to say hey to the Selling Sniper. He says, I'm the first one here. He says we all learn from each other. I've never been into shoes, but I know if I have a shoe question, I could turn to Marcus. I wanted to say hey to Ed, the reselling writer. He was my guest that was on yesterday. I wanted to say hey to the Selling Sniper. He says, have to ask, what is your best shoe sell ever for you? So as far as reselling shoes, you want to tell them a little bit about that?
It was a brand new pair of Kobe Grinches. They're lime green shoes. They call them the Kobe Grinches because they look like the Grinch. I paid $260 for them, and I sold them for about $600. So I made, after fees and everything, I made right around $300 profit off that one pair of sneakers.
Okay, cool. I wanted to give a shout out to Flippy McFlipperson. He just hit 1,000 subscribers last week. So big shout out to Flippy McFlipperson. And I wanted to say hey to Javela Flips Annie. So if you guys have questions for our guests, drop it in the chat. Marcus, I got a bunch of questions for you because I'm not really big into reselling shoes, but it's a field that I want to learn more about because I see people on YouTube and Instagram all the time, and they're picking up these, let's say, cleats for $15, $20 at Ross or Marshall's, and they're turning around and reselling them on eBay for $100, $150, $200, and then they're paying zero fees. So in your brain, you're like, okay, why do I want to pay $20 for a pair of shoes and sell them for $100? We have to understand the eBay fees is usually like 13%. So let's say out of $100, the eBay fees would be at least $13 of that. So you're really not paying $20 for those pair of shoes. You're really only paying like $7. And then you're turning $7 into $100 because you're eliminating the eBay fees. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but that's the way I look at it.
So yeah, with the athletic shoes, they have to be in the category of athletic. If it's over $100, there's zero fees. So pretty much you just pay the shipping and the cost of goods, and the rest is profit. So yeah.
All right. So talk to them a little bit more about that. Like, what type of shoes should we be looking for? I heard Nike sell really well. What about like Reebok, Under Armour? Like, what type of athletic shoes
Okay,
are
so
selling really well for you?
Reebok and Under Armour don't do that well for me. I barely ever pick Reebok up, although I do have a pair sitting over here that I just got. It'll be in my video that's coming out tomorrow. But they're like almost brand new and they'll go for about $30. They'll be a long tail item, but they will flip eventually. But Nike and Adidas are killing it right now. That's going to be your bread and butter. And anything Jordan, even if it's not a retro release, anything from 1 to 14, the number wise of Jordans, even if it's like a number 35 or some Jordan flights, they're still going to sell well. They're going to sell fairly quick. Red Wing boots, Ariat boots, those are going to sell super fast for great money. Even the like you said, the cleats and stuff like that. I can't get those. I don't have a Ross near me. It's in St. Louis. And usually when I go to St. Louis to travel, I'm going to thrift, not to go do retail arbitrage. But if you can get your hands on some cleats that are like the Nike Mercurials or whatever, those will do well. I did get some Adidas cleats and some Nike cleats from Drew Thrifts at Profit Monsters. They didn't sell well, but they sold, you know what I mean? But they didn't sell for a ton of profit. Simply because I had $12.50 into each pair, and they were only going for $20 brand new. So,
right. But yeah, I hear Nikes are really popular selling. That's like the top reselling shoe that there is on eBay right now. Yeah. Let me say hello real quick to little Debbie is in the chat. I wanted to say hey to little Debbie. She says, hey, Jeff and Marcus. I wanted to say hey to Harry Humpstone is here in the chat. Hey, Harry, we appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us today. Ed, the reselling writer, says only Reebok I pick up are the CrossFits, and Under Armour does pretty well for me. Yeah. And I wanted to say hey to Javela Flips. Annie is here in the chat. And I don't think I missed anybody else. The Selling Sniper. If you guys have questions for our guests, drop it in the chat. So Marcus, what are like some really hot items that's selling the most for you right now?
Right now, I would say jeans sell really well for me. I'm selling a lot of clothing items just because I have hundreds of clothing items listed. Sneakers are selling pretty good for me. Anything Nike usually sells fairly quick. And golf clubs are selling well. They've kind of slowed down now since it's getting towards the end of the summer season. But I did sell a golf bag today for $40. I got that and like 13 clubs, all for $40, and I've been made my money back off of it. And just selling the golf bag for $40 today, $78 after shipping fees and everything. So I'll still probably make something off the shipping on that as well. So that stuff just sells well for me. Monster High dolls sell well for some reason. I know the market's getting kind of saturated on it right now, so don't go pick up a whole bunch of them unless you get them for a really cheap price.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you a question about not just reselling, but like I think you said you sell on Facebook Marketplace and Mercari as well. How has your sales been lately on Mercari and Facebook Marketplace? And do you cross list, or do you just have certain items that go to certain platforms?
So I list certain things. Like I'll just list sneakers and stuff on Mercari and Facebook. If it's a big bulky item, I'll list it on Facebook for local pickup. And I list things that like gaming systems and things like that. I'll list it on Facebook and Mercari just because I've sold more game systems on Mercari than I have on eBay. But that's pretty much like out of all the listings that I have, I've probably only cross-listed about 50 or 60 of them to Facebook. And I only do the ones that I feel like will sell quicker on there or the higher dollar ones because Facebook takes less fees. There's just certain things that I found sell better for me on Mercari or Facebook over eBay. But there's some things that I'll list. I'll say I'll list 10 in one day. I'll list all 10 of those on Facebook and Mercari. But it's a matter of time, honestly. I don't have the time to cross list everything. And eBay's my bread and butter, so I go with eBay.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. We have a few questions here from the chat. First, I wanted to give a shout out here to AR Edwards Vintage Flips. I think I saw you. You were a guest on with Philly Flipper a week or so ago, and so I caught part of the replay. So honestly, I didn't even know we had a channel until like a week or so ago when I saw you on Philly Flipper. So I appreciate you coming by and hanging out. I wanted to say hey to Anytime Picker. Roman is here in the chat, and we have a few questions here. Harry Humpstone says, Marcus, Do you do yard sales? Do you go to them? Do you have yard
Yes.
sales?
I'm having a yard sale this weekend, or no, next weekend, as a matter of fact. And I do go yard selling. That's one of my biggest ways of sourcing right now, because I can go to 10 or 12 yard sales and on, on a weekend and, or, on a day, and then get back home by 1 o'clock and be listing, you know what I mean? What I just got that day. And the overhead is, or the cost of goods is usually extremely low for me. Like, for instance, this past weekend, I bought like 25 items and I didn't even pay over $100 for it. And I can make like upwards in the thousands. So it just makes more sense to me to do it, especially because I live in one of those states where it gets real cold. Like, it's not hot all the time. So yard sale season is a actual season. You know what I mean? And it's not all year round.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Flippy McFlipperson is in the chat. He says, Marcus, what is your favorite place to source? Thrift store, garage sales, etc. So, what's your favorite place you like sourcing at?
Well, man, I'm gonna say it's equal for me, man. Honestly, I really enjoy going to the bins and I really enjoy yard sales. But I would have to say yard sales takes the cake, just simply for the fact that I can get hard goods that I know work for a really good price. Whereas if I was to get hard goods at the bins without doing an extensive testing on them, it's just a risk. Like, you can plug it up and see if it turns on, but you're not going to be able to, unless you got a tape laying around, you're not going to be able to test this VCR without a TV. You know what I mean? Like, it might turn on and all the buttons work, but it's just a risk that I'm not necessarily willing to take all the time. Although I have done it and it's worked out for me, it's just really, really risky. Whereas, you get stuff from garage sales, it's going to be not by weight, and you could probably, like, I got a DVD VCR recorder for $2. If I would have gotten that at the bins, it was probably about 5 pounds. It would have weighed, it would have paid by weight, so it'd been like $10-12 for it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I've been meaning to ask you about the Goodwill bins. Do you have any crazy stories you could tell us about going to the Goodwill bins? Have you had to elbow anybody, or do you have to be?
I haven't had to. In my local bins, but I did when I went to Houston, Texas to see Chris from Flip the World. We thrifted together at the Goodwill bins down there, and they just, everybody attacks the bins like rabid beast, regardless, but they do cycling out the bins every 15-20 minutes down there. So they make you line up on the sideline, and as they push the bins in, they get a countdown. So at 3, 2, 1, everybody just dives in and attacks the bins. Well, there was this lady.
So they have people.
I was filming the footage, and I was just showing how everybody was just attacking the bins. She comes up to me later, and she's like, "It's not nice that you're filming without asking people's permission." And I said, "Well, you just need to mind your own business, like, period." Because Chris had already told me that lady doesn't like me. She's my competition here, and she's got like 7 carts full of stuff sat off to the side. You know what I mean? And then the cop, there's actual a cop in that location, because that's how rowdy it gets there.
Wow.
And he's like blowing people down, like, "You need to get your kids. This isn't a daycare." And I'm just like, man, they really get it in down here in Houston, man.
So they have a cop there, kind of like directing traffic.
Yeah,
they have people lined up like they're getting ready to take off for a race, and they say 3, 2, 1, go, and then the people just scatter like roaches and run to the corner and go get the stuff.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy. Never seen anything like it.
How was your trip overall to Texas? We had a question here from AR Edwards. He says, Marcus, when you coming back to Texas, man, and how was your trip to Texas?
Overall, the trip was fun. It was great. I don't know when I'm going back. I'd like to go back soon, but the trip overall, I got a lot of stuff to flip for profit, but I did end up popping my gas tank while I was down there. So this is the day before I was supposed to leave. So I ended up having to spend upwards of $1,000 on a rental car, a new gas tank, hotel stays, and things like that. So at the end of the trip, I ended up forking out a bunch of cash I wasn't expecting to have to fork out. But that's just the blessing of being in this reselling game, man. Because if you're smart with your money, you got money set aside for unexpected buys or unexpected lows, like I had, because I wouldn't have been able to get back home in a timely manner or have the money to pay weekend prices on hotel rates, which is just through the roof. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for reselling and being responsible with my cash. So,
well, I'm glad you had money put away for a rainy day.
Right.
Roman, he says everyone dives. He says, "Is there a lifeguard?" So they have a police
Yeah, that cop's the
on.
lifeguard.
They have the cop there, and he's like on duty, and he's
Right.
directing traffic and trying to get people to settle down. I want to give a shout out here to Regina. You guys did get a chance to check out Regina. I think they had I'm trying to remember, was it Flippin' Jack or something that was on yesterday on their channel? So I want to give a shout out to Regina, and I wanted to say hey to Thrift and Flip stopped by in the chat to hang out with us. So hey, thanks for coming by and hanging out. So you had a good time overall up in Texas. You went to the bins. You survived the Goodwill bins. You should get you a shirt that says "I survived the Goodwill bin." And so what type of merchandise do you usually sell besides shoes and clothes? Is there anything else? Do you sell video games, electronics? What other items do you pick up?
Video games, man. Really, it's just I don't come across a whole bunch of them, and I'm not very knowledgeable at them. I got a video probably a couple months back where the lady had a whole bunch of her kids' video games, and I was looking through them, and I passed up The Godfather, the game, and apparently that's like a $70 game, and I could have got it for $2, and I just skipped right over it. I don't really know that much about it without looking everything up, but I know my thrift store, the prices, it just went up. They were selling all their Xbox 360 games for like $3. Now they went up to $5. So they're just asking high prices for games that aren't going to be worth it, in my opinion. So I'll skim through the video game section. I just don't come across anything that's worth it very often.
Well, you're just going to have to branch out and look around, man. I have a couple of pawn shops here in Tampa where I live, and like the PS2, PS3, Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii games, they'll sell them to you for $1 a piece. They're used games, but they'll sell them to you for $1 a piece right off the shelf. And, they don't matter what it is. It don't matter if it because some of this stuff, they don't know what they have. Like I was pulling like this one game, NFL head coach, I was pulling it for $1 and reselling on an eBay for $30 plus shipping. And I got but like $1 in it. So they don't know what they're looking at. They just see old dusty junk. They just want to get rid of it. They don't ask any questions.
One pawn shop in my town, but I'll have to stop there and take a look in there, man.
Yeah. Believe it or not, guys, I don't know if you guys know this enough, but pawn shops have clearance sections too. Just like Walmart and Target has a clearance section. Well, a vast majority of these pawn shops, especially like the big nationwide ones, they have like little clearance sections of stuff that's been sitting there, and they want to liquidate it and get rid of it. So if you just go in there and look around, you never know what you'll find. Just like you find stuff at thrift stores or yard sales or Goodwills and things like that. I just wanted to say hey real quick to Payne, stop by in the chat, and I wanted to say hey to Regina. A.R. Edwards says, hey, Roman, Marcus, it's not that bad down here at our bins in San Antonio. Says be safe.
Yeah.
So Marcus, talk to me a little bit about your YouTube channel. What got you inspired to start your YouTube channel, and what kind of content do you usually make? Because I'm a subscriber of your channel, and I come by now and then when I have time. Because not only, guys, is it like important to just get the subscriber count, but if you can help out your fellow YouTubers, your fellow resellers, and help them get their watch time hours. Sometimes I'll be in the store getting gas or running around doing laundry, and I'll just have somebody playing in the background just to help them get their watch time hours.
Right,
so talk a little bit about what you do on your channel.
So on my channel, I'm pretty much it's reselling content and just ways to help new resellers shorten the learning curve. So that way they don't make as many mistakes, or at least they'll be able to have a resource to come to and look for the answers that they have to the questions that they have. And I make pretty much, I was doing a lot of sourcing videos, but like the last probably 8 to 10 of them, they're not sourcing videos. So I'm going back to making sourcing content as well as the educational stuff. So that way I can, because old resellers don't need educational content. They're not looking for that. They're looking for different types of content. So I'm making sourcing videos for the people that don't need help, and I'm making educational content for the people that do need help, and trying to make it somewhat entertaining at the same time.
Yeah. So one of your reasons
I got into it because I wanted to get back to, people that, didn't. I wanted to get back to new resellers, you know what I mean? And also another stream of income at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as long as you keep you're consistent with it and you don't give up, you'll get monetized eventually. Speaking of which, guys, we have 10 people live in the chat. I have a reseller on the community section. the 5 resellers. If you guys go by and support them, last time I checked, they're like 9 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys get a chance later today or this afternoon, if you would just do me a favor and help out the community, go to the community section, click on the 5 resellers, and just subscribe to their channel. They need like 9 subscribers, and they'll be at 1,000. So if you guys can do that, I would appreciate it. I wanted to say hey real quick to the Bargain Effect just stopped by. Says hello and good afternoon. I'm pretty sure I saw you. Were you on Cajun Roots Resellers channel today? For some reason, I think he was. I don't know. I wanted to say hey to Pam. Says Marcus, are you in New York? What bins did you go to? Marcus, you're in Missouri, right?
I'm in Missouri.
Okay, and I wanted to say hey to Mazir Loves Company. Says hello. Listening. Thanks for hanging out. I was laughing at Roman. He says he went to the Goodwill today and found some Nike LeBrons that were $70 at the Goodwill. That's so funny. Bargain Effect said, yes, I was. Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought I saw you this morning while I was out shipping out packages. I stopped by and checked you out on Cajun Roots Reseller. Yeah. So Marcus, I wanted to ask you a question about your YouTube channel, your reselling. What is your plans in the future to kind of grow and scale your reselling business? Like if I called you up on the phone 3 years, 5 years from now, what do you see yourself doing in the future with your reselling business?
Well, I'd like to probably be in a warehouse of some sort by then. Since I'm so new to it, I'm trying to figure out ways that I can scale and get more inventory without having to like start paying wholesale prices or, cut into the profit margin by buying pallets and stuff like that. So I'll probably try to find ways like maybe, probably do storage auctions or something like that. But I'll just have to do trial and error for the time being to learn and see which ways I don't like doing it or which ways are not as profitable as I'd like it to be. But the sky's the limit, man. I do want to get into some type of replenishables as well because that just makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was talking to Marcus backstage when we went live, and I was just telling him that, I have 2 eBay stores, and one of my stores is replenishable items. So let's say if you have this item for $20 and then you sell that item, well, you made $20 selling that item, and now you no longer have that $20 item in your inventory anymore. So if you can kind of shop around and find replenishable items that you could resell over and over again, that would benefit you because it's going to stay up there on your account. You're not like, constantly looking for new inventory every week to stock the shelves on your, relist items in your store. So one of your videos that you put out in the past week or so, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and you were talking about tips and tricks to help people generate and make more sales on eBay. Can you kind of run down 2 or 3 tips or tricks that you have that would help somebody make more sales? Because, a lot of common complaints people have is, man, it's summer slowdown. I'm not making sales. Marcus is making $1,000 in a weekend. I'm doing something wrong. Like, you drop some knowledge on us real quick.
Okay. So like the biggest thing that I did, man, was to go in and end my listings that were getting close to ending or just items that had like a lot of views and a lot of watchers, but no activity. I would go in the listing and then I would sell similar. I would change a few things in the title or the description, raise the price by a few dollars or lower the price by a few dollars. And usually that generates a sell. I also put out a buy one, get one for 20% off coupon on my store, the whole store wide. And I noticed probably 5 or 6 actual sales where the buyer actually bought more than one item from that promotion. And then just going through and checking your prices on items that have been sitting for a while. Sometimes the prices, man, the online trading price or just their market will go down on an item. You might have had it listed for 70 because that's what it was going for around the time that you got it. Had it for 3 or 4 months and now it's down to 40, and you just don't even know because you're steady, selling it, trying to sell it for $70. So you just got to go through and tweak your listings and make sure that you're not trying to overprice, your items. Those are 4 good ones.
Yeah. You can run a sale on your store. You could do promoted listings. There's a variety of different things that you can do to kind of help boost your sales a little bit. So who are some of your 2 or 3 favorite resellers that you like to watch when you have free time?
I wouldn't necessarily say I have a favorite, but I do watch Chris from Daily Refinement every single day. I watch his video while I listen to his videos while I'm listing. just because he's full of knowledge. Because if you've watched him for any amount of time, he was all over the place when he first started, and now he's kind of like narrowed it down and gotten laser focused on one category. Which I'm not going to say that I'm going to do that anytime soon. I'm still trying to find what I enjoy selling the most and what is the most profitable for me. So I'm still dabbling with everything, and
Yeah.
but I like the knowledge that he's putting out there. I've learned a lot from him. And then like I watch Harry Tornado for like entertainment type purposes as well as educational purposes. And then I'd probably have to say someone smaller, like a smaller channel, like Flippy McFlipperson or somebody. You know what I mean? Because he's
Yeah.
Evan's chock full of knowledge, and I feel like he's a little underrated. People don't, probably give him as much likes and thumbs up and subscribers as I feel like he should be getting. Like, his content is, in my opinion, is worthy of more subscribers than what he has.
Yeah, for sure. It just YouTube is just the thing. It just takes time.
Right.
There's some of these people out here, and you look at them, and they have 100,000 subscribers, and you think, man, I'm never going to get there. But it just takes time. Like if somebody's been doing something for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and you just started 2 weeks ago, it's just going to take time for you to get there. It's not going to happen overnight. But yeah, Chris from Daily Refinement, he's one of my favorite reselling content creators because he'll always put out content, and then I'll just kind of like pause and make me think about what he's saying, and then I'm like, how can I integrate this into my reselling business?
Yeah, exactly.
So right. So Marcus, you have any tips or tricks or advice that you can tell us about the shoe game? Because I'm not very knowledgeable in shoes. So is there anything in particular that you can maybe give us 2 or 3 pointers or pieces of advice? If I want to start reselling shoes, what should I be doing?
Looking everything up. Don't just go buy any shoe just because it's got the name Nike on it. Don't do that. When I first started, I started out with $5,000 capital, and to invest in sneakers, and I bought sneakers on the resale market for market value, trying to make profit off of shoes that were already capped out. And so, in order to get inventory moving, I had to take best offers and really undercut myself to really try and get my money back. So by the time I made all the sales back on the merch that I had picked up, I had lost $1,500. So you want to be sure you're looking items up, checking sold comps, checking the sell through rate on them, making sure that it's got enough meat on the bones. I'm blessed enough to be able to get pairs regularly for $3, which isn't the case for everybody. I know I watch like Riley Roots videos, and they're like, oh, we can buy this pair for $15 and make 30, sell it for 35. That seems crazy to me. I mean, like, go ahead and do what you do. Like that. That's great. You know what I mean? But I'll do that if I have to, but I try to pay as low as I can for everything. So another tip would be to not pay up as often as possible. Uh, and then 3, don't buy shoes unless you're really just getting started out and you need the capital. Don't buy shoes that require too much time to clean. I used to buy everything when I first started, and I'd spend 20 minutes on one pair of shoes trying to get dog hair and cat hair out and scrubbing the bottoms of the shoes because there was mud on them and things like that, just trying to OxyClean the hell out of everything that I got. And you end up spending a lot of time on it. So you might sell this pair of sneakers for 35, $40, but by the time you spent 30 minutes on trying to get them clean, you're cutting into your profits and you don't even realize it because your time is money. So,
Yeah, I mean, if it takes up a lot of time, for you to list that one pair of shoes or that one item, as opposed to like if you could have listed 10 more items that was already new in the box or new in the shrink wrap, you don't have to do nothing to it, but take photographs and list it. I would rather list 10 items as opposed to that one item that you could sell for 25, 30, $40. But you're sitting there, getting all the, doing all the cleaning, all the grunt work to get it prepped, ready to be listed. So definitely can understand that. We have a question here from the chat from Noob Ernie. He wants to know what happened to your eye. Do you want to talk about that or no?
So I got glaucoma in my left eye. I was born with a cataract. Fell down some stairs after I got the cataract removed, and my eye just developed. It got nerve damage on the right side. Actually, the right side transferred over to the left side. I don't really know how it happened, but the nerve damage affected my eye, and that's why this eyelid doesn't open all the way, and that's why it floats up. The pupil floats up like that, and this eye is blue because I had a surgery to transport plant the lens, and So now I got a brown eye and a blue eye. It's just I've been
So,
like this my whole life, man. You know, the people asking about it doesn't really bother me none.
all right, man. I wanted to ask you a question, Marcus. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. But earlier you mentioned that you said you do have a felony on your record. You want to tell people what happened, how that happened, and and tell us a story about, because I feel like you're not the same person you used to be in the past. So whatever happened in the past, you kind of like change your life around, because if you were that person, I could tell from your mannerisms and the way you talk and the way you act, you don't seem like a violent, threatening type of person. You seem like a real chilled, melancholy, laid back kind of guy. So tell them a story about what happened to you. What
It's
happened.
funny that you say that I don't seem like a violent person or nothing like that, because that's what when I went to prison, it was for first attempted first degree armed robbery and second degree assault. I I went to go rob somebody and I pistol whipped them because they wouldn't give me the money. So uh it just goes to show you, man, what drugs will do. You know what I mean? Like I used to sell drugs, and eventually I started using those drugs, and then I didn't have drugs to sell anymore. So I went to go take some money from somebody, and it just went bad for me. You know what I mean? And I got out of prison after 3 years, and I was just like, all right, man. Well, if I can stay, because I used to be on heroin, I was like, if I can stay off heroin, I'll be okay. Well, then I got on ice. It wasn't no different. You know, I started selling that and selling weed, and I got addicted to the casino, and uh, just led me down a path of just destruction. You know what I mean? And eventually, I got arrested for trafficking. I got arrested for selling methamphetamines and weed. Uh,
Yeah.
so they were going to let me go because I technically didn't have anything on me when I got locked up. It was just in the vehicle with us. But uh, the girl that I was with at the time, she ended up saying, you know, it's ours. We've been selling drugs to pay our bills and stuff. So
What?
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. She changed my life, you know, with those words, because I was going to get let go. And I was going to go back to doing everything I was doing. I was going to go right back to the streets and being a lousy piece of crap. You know what I mean? But instead, I asked if I could go to treatment for my sentence. You know what I mean? Long term
Yeah.
treatment, I would do a year focusing on myself and my criminal thinking, my behaviors that was leading me down a path. And I ended up giving my life to Christ while I was locked up, which is very common, honestly. A lot of people give their life to Christ when they're locked up, but they don't walk it after they get out. You know what I mean? So I've been clean for 4 years. I've been a follower of Christ for 3 years, and I mean, it's what keeps me going, man. You know, my life is definitely on a different path. And, you know, there's going to be some people that look at me negatively, you know, because I tell them my past and what I've been through. That really doesn't matter to me, man, because I know who I am in Christ, and I know who I am these days. And at the end of the day, you don't have to like me. You don't have to respect me. I know that Jesus loves me, and that's all that matters, man, for real.
Yeah, man, Marcus. When when we were young, all of us have done things that they wish that we could take it back and do things differently.
Right.
I had a thing when I was young, like college age, man, and I was like a speed demon, bro. Every time I got on the highway, I'd be hitting it. I'd be that one crazy guy that's swerving into traffic, doing 120, 150, 170 on the highway in the middle of the night, trying to see what I can get away with. And sooner or later, it catches up to you, and it's like, after a while, you sit around and look and realize it's like, okay, yeah, you can have a car that has 600 horsepower, but the speed limit's only going to be 55 miles an hour. They're not going to make an exception for you. They're not going to roll out the red carpet and say, oh, well, this guy has a special engine in his car, so he gets to drive 80 and everybody else only has to drive 55. Like, if that's the speed limit, that's the speed limit. So I understand everybody has their, I don't know, demons in the past of things that they had to deal with. And sometimes the only difference between one person and another person was one person got caught. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the other person didn't. So, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us. Pam says, thank you for sharing. Blessings for you turning your life around. My nephew died from drugs laced with fentanyl. Man, that's bad. That's bad.
That's scary because, nowadays everything, even the uppers are laced with fentanyl, and people are dying. Celebrities are dying. Regular people are dying because there's fentanyl in everything these days. And I'm blessed that I've got 10 years off of heroin. I've got 4 years clean from anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just it's a scary world, and I'm glad I'm clean. I'm glad I'm not dabbling with anything because I never
Yeah.
know what I would come across, and it's just not worth it. I'm not trying to play with my life like that. I can't
Yeah.
believe I did in the past. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause
Well,
I
like I
got a
said, bro,
totally different mindset nowadays.
all it takes is for you to be at the wrong place at the wrong time
Yep.
once. One
Yep.
time you're at the wrong place at the wrong time, and you know
Mhm.
it could be it could be all over for you just being at the wrong place at the wrong time just once. So hey, Marcus, Ben, my battery is about to die on my phone. I'm at like 8%. So I
Okay.
greatly appreciate you coming on and hanging
Oh,
out with
man.
us today. Tell everybody where they can check you out at on YouTube and Instagram so they can go
Okay.
by and give you a follow.
It's Dixon's Pickins on YouTube, Instagram, and I just started a TikTok. So you can't miss it. It's the only channel named Dixon's Pickins. And yeah, man, follow me on all my socials. Please go to the channel and subscribe if you're not subscribed, and leave me a thumbs up on the video. Tell them Jeff from eBay Addict sent you, and I really appreciate the support, guys.
Yeah, yeah, Marcus, I run into him in the community. It's funny. Sometimes I run into him 3, 4, 5 times a week. So it's
Right.
important that we look out for each other and support each
So,
other in the community because if we don't, who will? So go
right.
ahead and support our guests. I will see you guys tomorrow. I have a
Thanks
brand
for
new
having me
guest
on,
coming
Jeff.
on. Yeah, I have a brand new guest coming on tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He lives in California. His name is One Day at a Time Reseller. So if you guys want to come by and hang out with him, he'll be on tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. So I'll see you then. Till then, I will see you guys later. Go follow our guests. All the links are going to be down below in the description, and I'll see you guys later. You guys have a great day. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.